Oh. It doesn't want to come up. I can see it down there and it's staying close to the bottom. Andrew's hooked himself a fish just behind me on the game jig, giving me a bit of a hard time. Happy with that. Look at that, beautiful colours on that fish. Well, good morning. It's been a few days since the last went out, but what an epic evening my last trip was. It was so good in fact up here that I had to come back for another look. And so yeah, I'm out here, it's first thing in the morning, and I'm just out here for a few hours like I did the last time I was here. I went out for a couple of hours at night and did really well. So let's see how this morning pans out. I'm going to start off by just sort of casting around in the shallows with some softies, I think, just to see if I can find anything mooching around in the shallows. But got a pretty good forecast today, but it is going to get up later this afternoon. The wind's sort of in the north at the moment, which is ideal for fishing. And yeah, let's hope we come across some nice fish to take home. So what I'm doing is I'm just casting towards the shore. I'm not that shallow. I'm in about 8 meters at the moment, which is quite deep for this time of the morning. But yeah, I'm just casting out because it's so shallow. I'm casting in front of my drift, and I'm just keeping in touch with it. Like, I engage the bail arm as soon as it hits the water, and then I just let everything tighten up, and I just let the bait sink down and stay in touch with it the whole time, waiting for something to just show a bit of interest. But so far nothing, you know. We've got a little bit challenging conditions this morning. It's a little bit sloppy. There's no wind, but yeah. So yeah, nothing on that drop, so I just start retrieving, and hopefully I'll come across a fish. But I've got a funny feeling I've got to shift. Just keep prospecting around. I find that areas where like there's a bit of a creek mouth or something coming out is an excellent place to you know, fish. Like those areas where you've got gullies coming down off the hills and water running out. Not oh, and that was an inquiry, but wasn't anything super big. But yeah, those gullies where the water comes down are great. Something's having a go. It feels small. You know, are great places where fish congregate, because there's things being washed downstream. Not that we've had a lot of rain in Coromandel lately, but hey, you know, that's kind of what you've got to do. I'm using quite a dark bait because it's quite dark at the moment. Just, you know, I like to mix it up with the bait colour. A lot of people overlook dark baits, but in actual fact they work really well and can produce some good fish. So yeah, I mean, that dark silhouette in the water matches perfectly to the conditions that we've got right now. But so does a bright bait can work quite good in this sort of time as well. So yeah, inquiry, but no hookup, you know, must be small. So yeah, and I'm just keeping in touch with it the whole time it's sinking down. I mean, 6 meters of water, it's not deep. So, you know, hopefully we can pull something out of here, but if not, I'm certainly going to move out into that deeper water that I found the fish in, you know, a few days ago. Oh, yes! Ooh! So yeah, I'm sitting at about 7.8 meters now. This ain't nothing to write home about, but you know, first fish of the day is always nice. And yeah, I'll just be you know, I'll be letting this guy go. I'm gonna, you know, keep a couple of fish today to eat, but I don't really keep a lot of, you know, huge amount of fish most of the time, because there's only a few of us to feed. And you know, I think the message is take enough for a feed and leave the rest for the future, you know. So yeah, even little fish can take baits with bigger hooks, you know. It doesn't matter. Sometimes you can upsize your hooks and it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, all right. So just moved out a little bit deeper now, 13 odd meters, and straight away the fish are showing up on the sounder. And yeah, that's quite a skinny fish. You can tell that one's been in spawning mode, because look how skinny it is. You know, it's not a big fish, but yeah, off you go, bud. All right, so we're in 20 meters now. We're just going to try, just been down past this nice drop off, so we're just going to flick a softy out. I'm going to move to the jig again soon. I mean, it's pretty hard. I've still got that green zest gan jig that I was using the last time I come up here, and I'm tempted to drop it back down again. That thing's been so consistent as far as catching fish goes. So yeah, I'm hopeful of perhaps, you know, that they have been doing the bizzo, those little jigs. I've got to say, they're quite impressive. And I've got Andrew Fleming with me again today. He's taken a bit of time off work this morning to enjoy a bit of R&R before he gets back into the grind. You know, it's one of the things that us locals in Coromandel crave, is that time off. Good for the mental health sort of stuff, you know. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm just feeding line out. It's quite a high current area here, so I'm just feeding line out and trying to just let the bait drift down current as it goes, you know, 20 meters. And I'm feeling some sort of detection of, I'm feeling some sort of interest here, so I think it might be time to have a bit of a twitch of the rod and just see if we can get something to have a go at it. But so far it's been quite quiet. I hope this isn't a sign of what's going to come for the rest of the day. Oh well, I've switched to the good old gan jig, and the colour that I was using the other day, same one, and bingo, straight away. But we're sitting in 19 odd meters of water now, looking for those better fish. And this is about the size of the ones we've been catching, so surely something better is going to come along here, you know, at some stage. There's some good mark down there now, so let's just keep on trying to catch those fish. Alright, hooked into something a bit better. This feels a bit more reasonable than the last few snapper that I've pulled up, so pulling a little bit of line and doing a few runs. Probably a reasonable fish, around 40 centimeters, I reckon. Who knows, could be smaller too, man, you know. But yeah, on the gan jig. Love these jigs. Here it is. It's not as good as, well, it's not too bad, but it's not the 40 centimeter fish I was thinking it was. Just a hard fighting little fish. We'll let this guy go, because I'm just going to hang out for those bigger fish. Sweet, went back beautifully. Alright, starting to come into some more sign again now, which is great. And this feels like a better one. Might be one for the back, hopefully. These fish, man, they're pretty feisty at the moment. Even the smaller fish, you know, they've come out of breeding and they're on the chew. I fish pretty light drags, you know, and the reason being, the hooks pull pretty easily. If you have too much drag wound up on these fish, then the hooks pull. Here it is. Nice. Yeah, this is a nice eating size fish. I think we'll be taking this one home for dinner. Here we go. Look at that. That's an awesome fish. That's about the size that I really like to eat. So yeah, you can see that. Look at that. Nice eater. On the gan jig again. Well, we've been going through a fairly slow patch, pulling up fish, but just, yeah, it's kind of weird. It's almost like the tide sort of, the wind's swung around to the southwest, which isn't good actually. That wind direction certainly can shut the fishing down. But you know, we have been pulling them up, but they just haven't been anything of real size. And this one here, I just hooked, gave a good fight in the beginning, but sort of gave up the goose when it got up a little bit. It's nothing to write home about at all, you know, but it's a great pan size snapper, you know. Well, the quiet spell of fishing continues. It has been very, very slow for the last good hour, you know, and look at it now. It's calming off, glassy, probably the worst thing that could happen given, you know, how the fishing's been. It's dropping off all the time. There's not a lot of sign around, and even when there is sign around, they're very, very hard to get to take anything. You know, we've chucked soft baits at them, we've chucked micro jigs, and the heat of the day is starting to cut in now. So, you know, like, we're going to get off the water soon. But yeah, I mean, I've kept a couple. I'm quite happy because I've got a feed, you know, and that's the most important thing is, you know, I've got a couple of fish to feed us for a few days, and I don't like frozen fish, so, you know, perfect. But yeah, it's quite often this happens, you know. Here we go, I'm just getting a few inquiries now. Oh, but just seems a lot of little ones at the moment. So yeah, it's you know, we're coming up to slack tide. It's pretty much there now, and hopefully we're just going to drift back with the current down to where we came from, and then probably head in. So we'll just keep trying. I'm getting some inquiries here from a fish. Yes! Woohoo! You know, there we go. So, you know, even though there's not a lot of sign on the sounder, there still is fish here. But I wouldn't classify this as anything to write home about. But, so we'll let it go. See you later, bud. You know, talk about struggling, and then we just move a little bit out to 25 meters, and I saw a bit of nice sound, so I thought, right, I'm going to drop down. This actually could be, oh, it doesn't want to come up. I can see it down there, and it's staying close to the bottom. The way it's sort of giving these sort of, it could be a nice trev. Let's, I hope so. Trevelli's always a welcome catch, you know. Definitely got some weight to it anyway, so yeehaw. Oh boy, you know, this is the whole thing with just taking your time and basically looking around and trying to find the fish. This thing's on a bit of a run towards Andrew. Watch out, Andrew. And the way it's sort of dancing around, it certainly feels like a trev. Yep, it's a trev. Nice. Take my time with this one. Oh, Trevally have got such soft mouths, so it's always a challenge to land them. And, you know, I can afford to back the drag off a little bit now. Looks like a pretty nice trev. Yeah, awesome. Talk about getting a couple of species today. That's what I like. I haven't got this fish yet though, and I don't have a net, so I've got to be kind of real careful with this. You know. But yeah, good trev. Yeehaw! Man, it's one thing I love about this area up here. Off it goes. Haven't got this fish yet, you know. It's a nice trev by the looks of it, so pretty stoked. Go the Zescan jig again. This is a 28 grammer, pink. I changed rods. This is my spin setup, Taikabura. So, and you know, I just started prospecting on some nice looking sign down there. And yeah, I've backed my drag off a little bit too, because the thing is, these guys fight so hard that they wear a big hole in their mouth, and that can be a problem sometimes. So take your time with them. As much as you want to pull them in, they get unhooked, and yeah, and they're such a hard fighting fish actually. So yeah, take your time with them. When you got one online, a typical telltale sign is that rod tip just bobbing, sort of going doot, 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 like that. Then you know it's trev. Good trev, man. Woo! Awesome. Awesome trev. We've got to get it yet. It's going to be interesting. Might have to use my gaff. Great trevally. Pretty stoked. Hopefully I can bring it on board. Sashimi for dinner. Trying to swim away. So yeah, the most riskiest time is when they're on the surface like this. My gaff Oh, and off it goes. It's doing a run. When they're doing a run, you just got to let them go. Oh, I thought I had that one then. I thought it was up. I've backed my drag off, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is, because at the moment I didn't see a big hole in its mouth. So hopefully I can just keep this fish, get it back up on the surface, and we can nail the gaff into it and land it. Because there's no way I'm going to get the lip grippers on this guy. Just moving too fast and too hard. They don't cooperate, these fish, like that. Nice. Woo! Yeah! Now how's that for a trevally? And look at that, the jig just fell out just like that. And that's what I was saying, you got to be really careful. I'm loving my new gaffs. Look at that, that thing's got a tri-tip on it. And basically, you can see that hole there. I don't know if you can see that, but the hole in its mouth there is from my jig, you know, just pulling. It's actually got a couple of holes in it. I reckon it's probably been hooked before. Here we go. Here's this fish. Look at that. Nice trevally. Sweet fight. They put up a great scrap for their size. Andrew's been hooking into them also. Pan-sized fish. Taking his time bringing it up. And another panny come up to the surface. Yeehaw.
It's actually not too bad a panny.
That's a good eating size, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, mate, that's okay, eh?
That's perfect.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's the sort of size we want.
You can come home to dinner. Just get me bloody
Awesome.
Because I'm going to keep him.
What are you using, mate? What flavour jig have you got? A gan jig as well, have you?
Just a silver one.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Just shows you how effective those gan jigs have been, eh?
Yeah.
And once again, the Zest gan jig nails another nice fish. This one feels pretty good. So, yeah, it's almost time for us to head back in. But we're just, we're having a few more drops, and, you know, this fish is down at 15 metres. I just love this light gear. I just can't stop using it. Even that kingfish that I had on the other day was just such an epic battle with the light gear, you know, 20-pound line and that. And yeah, you know, it's so cool. It's such a buzz to catch fish on this light gear, you know. And 20 pound isn't super light either, you know, but it's still, you know, it's 9 kilos, but if you look at how much drag, here's that fish. Yes, nice fish. Woo-hoo-hoo. This one will definitely be going in the back. And that Zest gan jig right in the corner of its mouth. It's blowing up, so I might actually be able to grab this guy. Nah, as soon as I went to put my hand on it, he just... Yeah, check that baby out. Nice snapper. Whew. And you can see that gan jig, look at that, you know, unreal. Such a little lure to be, and that hook just came out so easy. It was just basically sitting in the corner of the mouth like that, and I just lifted it out. So it just shows you, you know, you got to keep the pressure on them. It's all about getting that drag and everything just right. Yeah, but yeah, look at this. That's a sweet fish. Look at that for colours on it. Beautiful looking snapper. Fat as. Quite a healthy one. Andrew's hooked himself a fish just behind me.
Oh yeah, reasonable panny. He's pulling
Awesome.
a bit of line. He had a bit more go in him than what he...
Oh, he's a nice fish, mate.
Yeah, that'll be alright.
Good eater.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Woo! On the old
Remo.
honey slider. Wasn't getting any luck on the other thing for a
Yeah.
while there. So
Just shows you, eh?
just sort-
Change it up, mix it up,
yep.
and you'll get the results. Well, it's got to that kind of time of the day. It's been an epic morning, and and I'm in again. I've been catching a few fish actually on this little pink gan jig. This actually feels like a better fish. Choice. Might be finishing my day with a nice fish. Not the double figure jobby that I normally catch around this area, but doesn't matter. Still happy with what I've been catching this morning despite a slow start to the day. So yeah, I was just going to sign off, but I think I'll just pull this fish up first. And yeah, and then it's time to call it quits. And it's a nice one. Let's hope we can keep it. Looks pretty well hooked, so I'm just going to lift it up over the side like that, nice and gentle. And you don't want to jerk fish out of the water if you lift them up by the trace. Andrew's been pulling them up 10 to the dozen as well, although struggling for any size. This one here is my last fish of the day, and it's not a bad one. Nice panny eating size fish, look at that. And that gan jig again, it's only got one hook, doesn't matter, still works a treat. So anyway, that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next episode of Real Screaming Kayaks. Cheers.